It's time for your daily Marvel Snap video, and we're going to talk about a video by my buddy Bootman that I think is very important, and we're going to loosely cover the topics that he discussed in his video because I watched it and I was like, you know what? He's 100% correct. And the title of his video is the #1 tip for reaching infinite nobody talks about in Marvel Snap. And I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description. You definitely want to go watch it. I believe he is at 126 and he gets to infinite quite often. And his suggestion is amazing. And I 100% agree with it, is that hot locations and feature locations often are the times that I climbed the most. The players that are engaged and understand how the hot locations and the featured locations are going to do the best on those days that they run. So hot locations are on the weekend and they run for 24 hours. They start Saturday night and they end Sunday night, and they appear 60% more. So like right now we've got the Onslaught Citadel running right now. And I'm going to tell you that I am playing a meme deck, and I'm going to make a video about it just to make like a crazy climb, to get my yellow jacket to 100,000. But because it is a hot location that's appearing 60% more, I'm actually was just blown away that I'm actually having, for a meme deck, like good results. Like I'm having like a deck this is a garbage deck right here. This was just a deck designed, and you have to watch the video, to do goofy things, to screw around, to blow up the whole board with Gambit, to make Hazmat, to make their whole thing go into the negatives, to make 100,000 yellow jacket. This is not a competitive climbing deck. The point I'm trying to make is that if you're engaging with the featured or hot locations, you're going to be able to climb. And this is 1,000%. Now, the hot location, it runs for 24 hours on the weekend, and it's usually an older location that's known. And you can actually kind of build a deck around that location and do well because it appears a lot. Now, the featured locations are brand new locations that have never been in the game before, and they come to the game Tuesday night, and they run for 2 days, and they appear 40%. Now, on those particular days, I try to modify or use an existing archetype deck that works well in that location. So I don't build a deck just around the location on the 2 days that run from Tuesday to Thursday night. I try to use a deck that works well in that location. So staying current with whatever featured or hot location is playing, because it's 3 days a week, basically 3 out of the 7 days, not quite 50%, but a little less than 50%, there's going to be some sort of boosted drop rate for those locations, and players that are willing to engage with them are going to have a significant advantage. And I know for myself personally, those are the days that I climbed to most, to infinite, and Bootman is 100% correct. The #1 tip for reaching infinite nobody talks about is working around those locations. Some people refuse to do it and they take those days off, or some people still play the game, but they're not optimizing their decks, or they're not playing optimal decks on those days. Absolutely. Now, I got to talk about this right here because this kind of, I wanted to talk about this, and this is a problem that Second Dinner is very aware. And Second Dinner made a post saying that they were very aware that players that are not Pool 3 complete don't have a meaningful way of engaging with the collector token system, specifically the Series 4 and 5 cards. They did not say that it was bad once you're complete with Pool 3, but they were saying that it's not the best system if you are currently in Pool 3. So you enter Pool 3 about 500, and then you're Pool 3 complete when you're about 3,000. And while you're in that, 500 to 3,000 phase, you're getting Pool 3 cards at a relatively good rate, but what you're not getting is a meaningful amount of collector tokens. And if you're just playing the game normally and not spending money, you're getting about 1,000 a month. And so this post kind of upset me. It's like, collection level 800. How am I supposed to get 6,000 tokens? You're not. And you're not going to be getting a meaningful amount of collector tokens until your pool 3 complete. And then when your pool 3 complete, you'll be getting about 5,000 a month. And also, they've got Silver Surfer pinned. And Silver Surfer is an amazing card, but this card right here is scheduled to drop from Series 5 to Series 4 on the next drop, which we're guessing is about a month out, which is, then it's going to basically cost 3,000 tokens instead of 6,000 tokens. So that is something we're talking about. And someone said, well, should I wait for Shuri to drop? Well, I don't think Shuri's going to drop next month. If we look at the Pool 4 cards, Shuri just went into Pool 4. And there's 5 cards that went into Pool 4. Bast Black Panther, Shuri, Super Skrull, and Valkyrie. The other cards, Orca, Maria, M'Baku, Helicarrier, and Agent Coulson, those cards right there, these 6 cards right here, have been there since November 29th. And my best guess is on the next drop, those 6 cards will be dropping from Pool 4 to Pool 3, but not before. So that is a thing for sure. That, if you're looking for Shuri, I think Shuri is one of the best cards in the game. 3,000 collector tokens. And the thing about Shuri also, a lot of people are worried about the upcoming Silver Surfer and Zabu nerfs. I get it. Shuri does not need to be in a Zabu deck to be effective. In fact, the most busted way, the best way maybe to use Shuri right now, or the most common way to use Shuri, is in a non-Zabu deck, mostly exploiting cards like Red Skull and Taskmaster. Shuri into Taskmaster is amazing, and that's what are people doing. So I think that is a way of looking at it. Also, trying new decks in this game is not fun. I want to try an untested weird deck. We'll say goodbye to 5+ levels on the ladder. Really cannot wait for casual mode. And so, yeah, casual mode is welcome. The other way that you could get around this is do a battle mode with a friend. If you have a friend that you, and I believe there are probably servers where you can share codes, where you can do battle mode if you want to test out different things. And that is going to be the best way to do it. But yeah, I have found that when I start playing a new deck, it takes me 20 plus matches just to understand the win condition line on when to snap and when not to snap. When I start playing a new deck, I find that I snap too late, or I don't snap early enough, or I'm not getting out of matches that are unwinnable. Knowing what the win condition is in the deck and what decks you can actually beat, it's about cube management. This game is more about cube management than actually winning. You could actually retreat 7 matches and then win that 8 cubes, and then you will be ahead. In fact, the developers have said there are 2 decks out there currently that are in the top 10 for cube rates that actually have a below 50% win rate. Again, 2 of the top 10 decks in this game right now have a below 50% win rate. And I believe they're a Galactus deck and Sarah Control. The developers have disclosed their numbers. And yes, that is a thing. This game is called Snap, and it's about cube management more than actually winning. Should Sandman have more than 1 base power? Yes! You feel so bad when you play a 4 cost for 1. Not saying you should be extremely buff, but 2 or 3 power would feel nice. Yes, anybody that's played Sandman, it doesn't win games necessarily, and oftentimes the tempo is thrown off, or they just retreat, and then what, right? So I feel like Sandman, in a video I did with Bootman, he said if there's one card that you would want buffed, I feel like Sandman. I feel like decks should have counters. Like a lot of people play Zoo decks or Kazoo decks, right? And they play those decks like Killmonger doesn't exist, and they do just fine. They just know that there's Killmonger out there that will counter their deck, but their deck is still good. And if they happen to run across a person playing Killmonger, then that's just the way it is. And I feel that there are Zabu decks and other decks out there should also feel the same way about this card. Hey, I just got Sandman. I have to play my deck like Sandman doesn't exist, but the 1 in 20 games that somebody's playing Sandman, I'm just going to lose. And for some people, that is Leech. Leech is that card. Specifically, Leech ruins the Surfer cards. You know, someone plays Leech on turn 5, and Surfer was looking to dump a good chunk of their hand, and they're not going to be able to do that. But I just feel like this game needs to have counters, and I feel like Zabu has some counters, but not really. And hopefully the changes made to Zabu will solve this feeling. Also, the developers also said that there's going to be a variant art fix in the next update. I recently bought a Mysterio variant. The other card that this actually applies to also is going to be Morph. Like if you buy a Morph variant and you place him on the board, you don't get to see your variant because he converts into their card. Same thing happens with Mysterio. You put Mysterio on the board, your fancy variant disappears, and you see the generic Mysterio clones or whatever like that. I recently bought a Mysterio variant. Wish I didn't, as the art for the tokens hasn't changed, or the art for the regular version when played for some reason. Will there be something fixed in the future for all cards with tokens? Mysterio will be fixed in the next update. And then also, very, very, very cool, I want to draw your attention to MarvelSnapDraft.com. If you want to do a draft mode with your friend, this is amazing. I love this idea altogether. You can draft right here and go into it and say, oh, what do I want to play? Oh, I'm going to play Rhino. And then you go through and you pick your deck. And this is so fun and so fair, where you can go through and pick, the good cards. You can see I've already picked some great cards, Scorpion, Rhino, White Queen. And then you load the code up and then you play your friend. It's a big deal. Also, we're going to wrap up the video with 2 cute, funny things right here. I believe in you. You can lift Mjolnir. Yeah, and if you do a name change on your account, which was enacted in this last patch, you're stuck with it for 30 days, so choose wisely. And lastly, r/Marvel Snap. I wanted in it. That's true of every snap for every video game I've ever played. That's what it's for. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.